Years ago, all American soccer players had was a dream. But with the coming of Major League Soccer, they had a future. In America's unforgiving terrain of pro sports, soccer has taken root. The seed was sown 4 years ago. And along the way, the stars were revealed with last-second heroics and epic battles waged on the pitch against overwhelming odds, with warriors standing resolute against every challenge. Tonight, America's heartland provides a place for the American dream to soar even higher. Columbus's new home is a fitting stage for new heroics. A place for American soccer players and fans alike to call their very own. It's soccer's field of dreams. They have built it, and here they come. Tonight, MLS makes a permanent mark on the American sports landscape as the Columbus Crew host the New England Revolution, opening the door on a new era of American soccer. Lamar Hunt building this house, a cost of nearly $30 million. 22,500 seats, moving 1 mile east from Ohio State University. The thought, almost a year ago today. The construction time, just over 9 months. 9,000 season tickets sold and 1,000 single game tickets that were snapped up in 8 minutes. Hello, everybody. I'm Phil Shane. Glad you could join us for this historic occasion. Joining me on the field is Ty Keogh. And Ty, the Columbus Crew started this campaign 7 games on the road. No one thought they'd be able to return home with 5 wins.
Well, the Columbus Crew couldn't be happier than to come back to this perfect venue. And with me is Brian McBride, star of the U.S. national team and captain of the Columbus Crew. It's a landmark moment in history for U.S. Soccer, MLS, and the Columbus Crew, Brian.
It sure is. We've been looking forward to this day for a long time. It's such a great opportunity for us, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
Well, a little bittersweet moment for you. Also, you're a part of it, but you're not able to play because of the broken cheekbone.
Yeah, that's true. But I realized that last Sunday, and have been trying to psych myself up and actually just trying to help out the guys in any way I can.
A big win tonight for the Crew?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a big night for Columbus, a great night for Major League Soccer. Back up to you, Phil.
The cupboard not bare. They still have last year's leading scorer and the reigning player of the week in Stern John and Jeff Cunningham. ESPN2's coverage of MLS brought to you by Honda, the official vehicle of MLS, by Allsport, the official sports drink of Major League Soccer, and by MasterCard, the official card of MLS and a friend of soccer fanatics everywhere. They're announcing the starting lineups, the opening kickoff, just moments away from this historic game from Columbus, and you're watching it on ESPN2.
I'm a student, and I do a lot of research on the web. So what I wanted, what I really had to have, was a powerful desktop computer. Then someone told me about Dell. I got on the internet. Dell built a desktop just for me. This DirectWay actually costs less. Okay, so I don't always use it for research. Cool.
Discover this Dell Dimension XPS with the next generation Intel Pentium 3 processor at 450 megahertz for $47 a month. With applications optimized for the Pentium 3 processor, you get smoother, cooler, more realistic 3D graphics. Add in great audio, video, and a big monitor, and you can get more lifelike games and a rich internet experience. System also includes 2 games, fast, easy internet setup, and 24-hour tech support. This Dimension with Intel Pentium 3 processor at 450 megahertz, just $47 a month. Monthly payment for other systems vary.
I'd be lost without it. No doubt.
Be direct, Dell.
This is revolting.
What's the matter?
They're paying him for this.
Yeah, I think he's good.
Good? You can't even say the name of the product.
He can say it.
What are you talking about?
He's got a thick accent, you know,
Accent?
almost like European.
Hey, Ferret, let me hear you say Bud, nice and clear.
This sounded like Bud.
No, it sounded like...
I think your hearing's going low.
Oh, right. Hey, Ferret, could you lay a little wise on us?
Smooth, like a pro.
Absolutely. What was I thinking?
Okay, item 7. Who requested separating seats?
We did. It falls under the personal space clause.
I have no problem with that.
Me neither.
Good.
Well, other than tray table custody, I think we may have ourselves a minivan.
Not so fast, folks. I believe you know my client.
Timmy?
The all-new 7-passenger, something for everyone Honda Odyssey. It's one big happy minivan.
Making friends for life, $0. Speaking your mind, $0. Believing in yourself, $0. Trying something new, $0. Being young, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
The revolution is picking up steam. Walter Zenga might not be throwing tea in Boston Harbor, but he is throwing his ageless body around. And Joe Max Moore is healthy at last. That means a newfound respect for the Revs. The Crew could have dropped Columbus from their name the first 2 months of the season. They opened with 7 straight games on the road, but returned home with 5 wins and are a force to be reckoned with in '99.
Back, we got ourselves a soccer game here. MLS's inaugural game of the Columbus Crew Stadium. And Walter Zenga will be the man looking to ruin the party. The goalkeeper in the world, the best one back in 1990, trying to recover from an injury which knocked him out of the Revs' last game.
And number 14 for New England, Ivan McKinley, the spiritual leader on the field. Big Ivy packs a big left foot, scored 2 from his defensive midfield position in New England's win over DC. And Joe Max Moore up front, a veteran of both the 94 and 98 World Cups for the USA. Still only 28. He's New England's top scorer so far in '99.
Mark Doherty was supposed to be a backup when the season started to Jurgen Summers. Summer got hurt in the offseason, and Doherty back climbing the win chart in MLS.
And number 5, Thomas Dooley in the red shoes. 11 years of pro soccer in Germany. He started every game in the 94 and 98 World Cups for the USA. And up front, a youngster, only 22, Jeff Cunningham, 2 goals last week to help Columbus beat San Jose.
Tom Fitzgerald, the man who stepped into the coaching reins for Columbus, and what a project and a job he stepped into. This has got to be one of the biggest stories in U.S. soccer history. Brian Hall will be the man in the middle as he gets set to try and keep his whistle in hand, joined by Nate Clement and Brian Darling down the sidelines. And again, the game almost the sidebar to this story as the Revolution taking on the Columbus Crew. We're underway, and the black-clad Crew moving from the left to the right, the white and red of the Revolution defending the goal, confetti sailing towards Zenga's net on the right side of your screen. Thomas Dooley, familiar red shoes from the former U.S. captain, rifles a pass to the near side to Mike Clark. And obviously the Columbus Crew are playing at home, but Ty, there really is no home field advantage yet because the Crew have not even played a game here. The depth perception, the logistics of how to play on this field are just as foreign to them as it is to the Revolution.
Well, what a huge difference, though, compared to Ohio Stadium, which was the former home of the Columbus Crew. It was only about 58 yards wide. This one's 75 yards wide. Perfect for good playmaking and attacking soccer out of midfield.
Tomasco tries to get past Ted Chronopoulos, who clears it to midfield. You talk about the size difference as the first foul goes against Joe Max Moore. Basically, you go a mile to the west to Ohio Stadium, duplicate, just take it to Kinko's or something, duplicate a third of the field and plop it down, and that's what you have here. A brand new 2,000 plus square yards of territory for the Columbus Crew to call their own. And there's McKinley quickly getting introduced or reintroduced to Brian Hall.
Well, McKinley, in fact, coming back from a game he missed last week due to suspension, a red card suspension. Back in the lineup. He's a hard man, very good in the air. Strong tackler, an intimidating force. Game in, game out for New England.
Todd Yeagley standing around his window dressing as Williams sends it to the middle, and a little bit of a push going on, and the foul called. A free kick for the Revolution. We'd like to thank AT&T and all of our other sponsors for allowing us to bring you tonight's game without any interruptions. Walter Zenga trying to make sure there's no interruptions, picking the ball out of the net, and he's been pretty successful so far this year.
Well, not only that, what a successful career. One of the greatest goalkeepers in the history of the sport. In 1990, he was named the best goalkeeper in the world after having played for the Italian national team and losing only on penalty kicks to Diego Maradona and Argentina. Argentina eventually would win the '90 World Cup.
The white shoes of Andy Williams feeding Stern John. The crowd starting to get on its feet.
I will correct that. Germany beat Argentina in the final on a penalty kick by Andy Brema.
We won't even get into the defensive attributes of Argentina. Something that actually is starting to raise its head here in MLS. Regardless, Walter Zenga, a story of his own.
I don't know what the German soccer fans after. Argentina won in 78.
Winger grabbed by Zenga.
Argentina won in 78 and 86. Germany took it in 90.
Take a look at some of the particulars about this brand new stadium yet to be named. Hunt Stadium sounds pretty good considering what Lamar did. 22,000 plus, almost 22 and a half. They can actually expand that to 40, and they have put a few extra 100 seats here to get it close to 24 today, Todd. Far side, Thompson tackled away. Paulo dos Santos, the number 21 youngster in your screen, Cape Verde native, not expected to be in the starting lineup, especially not right back. Stern John can't get his head to it. A battle of 14s, and Ivan McKinley clears for New England. Dos Santos and Johnny Torres, two of the younger players in the Revolution, stepping in due to injury time.
Well, Mike Burns not able to make the trip. In fact, the normal right back for New England because of a right hamstring problem, something that's been nagging him for the last several weeks. And Dos Santos, normally a midfield player, called in to play that right back position.
Here's Brian Mazanoff against Dos Santos, grabbing and tugging. Play on, says Brian Hall. Finally almost rolled to the ground was Mays. No call. Brian Hall right there. And Dos Santos weathers his first test.
Brian Mazanoff, the top scorer for the U.S. in the 1996 Olympic Games. And he's yet to really make his mark in MLS. He's had injury problems and a nagging right ankle that continues to bother him.
Actually needed surgery about a year ago today, last July. Here's Dos Santos. Actually, this was a spot that could have been penciled in for John Harkes, but he's still not 100%. There is a chance we could see the former U.S. captain suiting up and playing today for the Revolution for the first time since the trade from D.C.
And speaking of captains, Mike Lapper at the bat for the Columbus Crew wearing the captain's armband, since Brian McBride has the broken cheekbone and will be out as long as 4 to 6 weeks. Dooley for years wore the captain's armband here in Columbus.
Yeagley pushing up from the defensive midfield. Here's Stern John. Cuts against Joe Maxmore and chops to the ground. It will be a free kick right near midfield. Brian Hall wants to have a talk with Brian Dunseth, the young Revolution's defender, delaying the game a little bit. A little bit of gamesmanship. And the third foul of the game, all three against the Revs so far.
We looked at Dunseth there. He's one of the key elements of the U.S. under-23 national team, which is really the Olympic team in training for the 2000 games. Of course, they have to qualify to get to the 2000 games in Sydney, Australia.
That under-23 team is going to be taking on Canada in the near future. In fact, May 19th, as Clive Charles calling the future red, white, and bluers to camp. Here's Dunseth. Far side, Horter.
Phil, this field is an absolute jewel. In fact, it has been groomed to U.S. Golf Association specs. It's a gigantic golf green out there.
I don't think the grooming would help my putting much, but see what it does from a field perspective. That pass right there never would have been a foul. Camasco would never have been able to reach Ted Chronopoulos, although they whistle it against Chrono on this one. The ball would have been in the stands.
And Camasco probably would have put Chronopoulos on to the track.
Jesse Owens would have gotten some company. Mike Clark.
That's a good point, though, Phil. There's space on this field for the skilled players to maneuver out wide, to get away from the tight marking, get their heads up, and create some attractive soccer.
Kelderman some more. Joe Max dodges a Mike Clark tackle, and the crew right back's going to get a talking to.
Phil, this accomplishment of this new stadium here in Columbus is really the crowning achievement of a long line of successes for U.S. soccer, going back even to the '84 Olympic Games, which were all sellouts in the soccer events. and then you had the great success of the '94 World Cup, the beginning of MLS, and now a soccer-specific stadium.
Bono in the middle, and Joe Max Moore almost spoiled the storyline. A diving left-footed volley, just missing wide.
That's the nature of Joe Max Moore. He's always in there, making a pest of himself in the box, and he nearly turned this one onto the goal. Doherty had that near post covered pretty well, but it's always difficult to react to a first-time shot. And winning the race to that near post, Joe Max Moore has that nose for the goal.
Joe Max, trade talks abounding even this past month with the Carlos Valderrama situation in Miami. Who knows how much longer he'll be in a Revolution uniform, but Walter Zenga, the player coach, said if Ivo Wortman wants Joe Max, as the ball comes to the middle, cleared away by McKinley. If Ivo Wortman wants Joe Max, he's going to have to trade for Zenga, because Zenga's going to keep him with his team.
Now, Zenga's a very wise man when it comes to the game of soccer. He knows the talents. Not only that, from Joe Max Moore, you've got a true professional who battles and competes every practice and every match. Such an example for his teammates. There he is hustling there, nearly taking the steal off of Andy Williams.
Williams through ball. Cunningham was onside. Stern John was off. The ball tucked into the net. Ryan Hall looks like he might give a yellow card. Nope, just a caution by word of mouth to Cunningham. Again, it's a little bit loud here. That is somewhat questionable call on the near sideline.
It's a full stadium. Cunningham may not have heard it. He might have been even, in fact, with McKinley here on the near side. Or is that Dunseth? For sure, Stern John was in offside position, but he wasn't part of the play. It's questionable for sure whether Cunningham, in fact, was behind the last defender.
MLS has said that the even is on rule in offside is going to be pushed and stressed this year. In the middle for Cunningham, bringing it down, rifles it in! The second tries a charm! Oh, what a goal! Just seconds after being denied, the Columbus Crew.
Player of the week last week, Jeff Cunningham, for scoring 2 goals against San Jose and Columbus's win out there. Now he'll score his 3rd goal in a row for the Columbus Crew. Great setup by Stern John.
Well, we're talking about 3 goals in a row. The record for goals in a row on one team is held by the man on the field up front for the Revolution. Remember, back in '96, Giovanni Savarese scored the first 8 Metro Stars goals. Gio yet to get really on track this year. Todd Yeagley, again, a talking to from Brian Hall, who looks like he's going out of his way to try and keep the festive atmosphere here without breaking out the cards. But again, brilliant work from Stern John and Jeff Cunningham for the 2nd straight week, the Crew in the lead. Porter flicked back by Savarese, and the volley off the right foot of McKinley.
Off the wrong foot of McKinley. McKinley likes it much better on the left foot. Savarese should know that. It was still a good idea. McKinley, though, likes to get forward, despite the fact that he's mainly out there to slow up the opposition midfield with his studs-up tackling. Gio Savarese, after being the top scorer for the Metro Stars 3 years in a row, moving to New England. And you're right, he hasn't really worked up that understanding yet with Joe Max. There's a lot of injuries, in fact, for New England that have thrown them off.
Interesting again when we get the chance to watch that goal happen. Again, that might have been a goal that might not have happened at Ohio Stadium, as Stern John near the sideline would not have had much room to work with as he whistles the cross in for a brilliant finish from Jeff Cunningham.
Good defensive play a moment ago by Dan Kalichman. He was the captain for several seasons of the LA Galaxy. He has moved to New England after that leg break that he had last season. He's come back very strongly defensively here for New England. So kudos to Kalichman for the recovery from the broken leg.
Good effort by Yeagley. And speaking of recovery, Paulo dos Santos wins the ball back for the Revolution. Moore, Savarese, nice turn. He's very good at that. Maybe exaggerating the foul a little bit.
Well,
he's very good on the turn.
He's had ankle problems this season. He missed 3 or 4 games early on, and I'm sure it's still tender. He did get clipped from behind. In fact, there from Mike Clark. Clark, fortunate perhaps that the cards are not really flying at this point from the officials.
Porter bringing it down, Savarese. Near side, Chronopoulos shepherds it away. New England will get a throw. The drum beating in the background. The fans, many of them still finding their way to their seats, and standing room only as the concourses in the upper deck are practically filled as well. Dooley coming up from sweeper has Mazonoff on his inside, cannot get the ball there before Kalishman heroically throws his body in the way.
Oh, we saw the brilliant vision there of playmaker Andy Williams. He flights another ball into the box. This one offside, though. But Andy Williams, a moment ago, was able to find Thomas Dooley on a near breakaway. And the goal for the Columbus Crew, the first one ever in the new stadium by Jeff Cunningham. The ball out wide. Chronopoulos gives the ball up in a bad part of the field. Sturgeon makes him pay by getting it out in front to Jeff Cunningham, who overpowers Zenga. Cunningham, 3 goals in a row for the Columbus Crew.
Feeling a little strong is Jeff Cunningham. Kingston native, grew up at the tail end of his high school career in Tampa. And we already talked last week about some of the people he overlapped in his scoring prowess with the Bulls. Mark Chung and Roy Wagerly among them.
When Phil, that goal, a part of the Caribbean connection that the Columbus Crew are known for. Sturgeon from Trinidad and plays for Trinidad's national team. Cunningham, as you mentioned, born in Jamaica, but went to high school and college in South Florida. Kelderman gets that dubious achievement award.
I think he would have rather had the one Cunningham got.
Of getting the first yellow card caution at the new stadium, the Columbus Crew Stadium, a momentous occasion for U.S. soccer fans.
So Cunningham from Sturgeon in the 10th and the first booking in the 15th to Kelderman. Foul near side. McKinley will not get the benefit of the doubt. Still holds a hope of suiting up for South Africa. Actually went back the last couple of years.
Do they still remember him? He's been here so many years.
Mazonoff on the restart. There's plenty of black jerseys in there. Torres a missed touch. Here's Thompson. Williams. And possession-wise, it has been all Columbus. Joe Max Moore and Edwin Horter had a couple of nice touches on the near sideline, but Columbus laying claim to their home turf very early. Andy Williams got his first World Cup appearance in France.
Part of the Reggae Boys of Jamaica, who surprised so many people, really, to even qualify for the World Cup. A lot of pride there out of the Caribbean. The fact that Jamaica was able to be one of the 3 qualifiers from the region, which included the USA and Mexico.
Restart. Cunningham will lead. In fact, it looks like Yeagley will be the playmaker on this one. Bending it towards the spot. Headed away by Dunseth. Only as far as Williams. Look at Joe Max Moore hustle. Shoulder to shoulder charge. Nope. Williams whistled for the foul.
You have to like Williams' ability to shield the ball and hold possession. He went a little bit overboard there, but it really helps the Columbus Crew to have a player who can slow the play down a little bit, give everybody else a chance to get a little bit of a breather, but also to open up. They know they can make a good run because Andy Williams is going to be able to hold the ball.
Dos Santos back to Horter. And by the way, Columbus fans watching at home as Chronopoulos cuts into the box, chopped down from behind. That'll be a free kick.
741 can say that they witnessed history, one of those including Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to
rumble indeed. There was an Air Force flyby, and even the ball came down from the cloudless blue sky and delivered to team owner Lamar Hunt. First half, you can put it in the book. Jeff Cunningham records the first ever goal at this new complex. 1-0, Columbus out in front. The defense was simply spectacular. Mark Doherty in goal. Check out the great save. Gets extended and stops it. And he would preserve that shutout second half. The shot on goal, Stern John, is there, and the header is in. 2-0 Crew. They go on for that final score. 2-0 is the final over New England. With more, here's our Clay Hall.
Ray, thank you very much. An historic night for the Columbus Crew, and they celebrate in style. Stern John and Jeff Cunningham with goals to spark this win. How sweet it is.
It's a great victory for us, and thanks Columbus. It was great, you know.
Historic night.
Definitely. It was a great win once again. We came out, we played hard, and we did what it takes, you know.
Look around. I mean, look at the atmosphere. It's tremendous. It feels like the final, you know. A lot of emotion going in this game, and it was good that we came out, not only got the win, but finally played well tonight. We created a lot of chances. Defensively, we were really solid and gave the fans, you know, what we hoped to give them. And that was a great exhibition.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't leave the cheers all night long here. That's the way I feel. Very exciting. We played a good game. Lost the momentum for a little while in the middle of the first half, but Jeff Cunningham gets a goal. Stern John gets a goal. We win 2-0 and get a shootout. Keep ourselves in first place. It's great for the players.
And they do look like they're going to rock and roll all night and party every day. An historic night goes well for the Columbus Crew and USA Soccer. The Crew wins it 2-0 here tonight. Ray Crawford, let's go back to you.
Clay, thanks so much. Ohio State baseball is out. We're going to
have a good serve here by Chronopoulos. It's almost hit too hard. Savarese not able to turn, and 3 Columbus Crew defenders all around him.
Sunday, the U.S. women with top international scorer Mia Hamm continue on the road to the '99 Women's World Cup, taking on Holland from Soldier Field in Chicago. Mia, by the way, Hamm 2 goals from being the all-time leading scorer in women's soccer history. That's Sunday at 2. And don't forget, Women's World Cup starts June 19th on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC Sports.
Look at Matt Comasco from Ship Bottom, New Jersey. I always love that name. Who would name a place Ship Bottom?
The guy who had the top of the ship. Here's Yeagley.
Comasco, a lot of energy out on the right flank for the Columbus Crew, trying to get forward here. Right now, the Crew are being outshot, though, by New England, 4-1.
Joe Max Moore and McKinley. Chronopoulos. Back to Horter. Horter had an erratic first season in MLS last year, part of it due to injury and part of it due to all of the problems that the Revolution faced. Nice try by Kelderman and McKinley. But Horter today looks as though he's on top of his game, and if he can link up with Joe Max Moore, the Revolution are far from out of this one. Here's Kelderman. Nice switch to McKinley, but he thought Chronopoulos would be on his outside, and another Revolution chance goes lacking. Kelderman started his career winning a couple of cups with DC. Last year started out with Miami, picked up in the waiver draft.
That's some nice stuff there by Columbus in midfield to keep possession. Again, using the space that wasn't there at Ohio Stadium.
Williams to the outside, Comasco and Cunningham. Comasco would have been better served to just heel that. It does go out for the corner kick, though, and again, the good sight that has been promised from Andy Williams finally starting to show itself in '99. Collar up a la Cantona. Takes a touch of attitude to be a playmaker.
Very sure of himself is Andy Williams.
If you doubt it, he'll tell you.
Tom Fitzgerald having a few battles of wills with him through the last couple of seasons.
Blast to the back post. The captain du jour, Lapper, fighting for it. Thompson on the volley. Missed by a couple of yards to the right, but a good idea of the former national champion out of UCLA.
The Columbus Crew threatening again. They already have a 1-0 lead. A goal in the 10th minute by Cunningham. And from well outside, this ball at first looked very dangerous, but that proved to be no problem for Zenga.
This man could have finished a chance like that. Needed a hard hat going up against Jamie Clark last week.
26. The lucky road.
Here's Savarese. Porter dispossessed by Williams. Porter wins it back.
Porter to the corner. Plenty of green space. But Tomasco closes the door quickly. One of the key reasons Colorado made it to the MLS final in 1997.
Well, Columbus coach Tom Fitzgerald calls Matt Tomasco his New Jersey street fighter. That's why he's got him out there. It's not for finesse.
Chronopoulos a long throw. Inside the 6, flicked back post by McKinley, and a sprawling clearance by Lapper. Need to set the sights 90 degrees the other way. Here's Kelderman, who has been under fire the last couple of games for the Revolution. Strange, you'd think that the number 10 position, the playmaker, would be the one that all coaches want, but a lot of coaches talking about defensive midfielders as Horter tries to catch Doherty napping.
Well, Jeff Cunningham already has a goal in this game in the 10th minute. Last week, he scored 2 in the late going for the Columbus Crew. This one here, a brilliant setup by Thomas Dooley over to Cunningham. He makes easy work of it. And Dooley gets most of the credit. This one, Todd Yeagley, a quick ball out of midfield to Cunningham. Watch Cunningham make a great dribble on right and put it into the net. 2-1 victory for Columbus over San Jose.
Mentioned Stern John setting up the goal last week. You saw Stern John at the very end on the shot, but John ran across the field from left to right, drawing 3 defenders with them, which opened the alley for Cunningham. Today, a more direct role on a nice bit of work defensively and offensively, setting up Cunningham for the 10th minute tally. Kelderman. Here's McKinley. Tomasco and McKinley having a few words. Far side, Dos Santos. New England trailing. Dos Santos, a nice bit of work. Catenaccio, the description of the Italian defensive style that Zenga has brought with him. A lot of people say the best way to get a good game out of the Revolution is to score first against them. And we are seeing tonight they do have some offense in their bag of tricks.
Well, New England's coming off their first home victory of '99. They beat Miami on a shootout last week. But in fact, New England's been tougher on the road this season. They've won 2 out of 3 on the road. At home, they've only gotten 1 point, which was that last week's game against Miami. 1 point out of 4 home games. So they could still make a real match of this tonight.
First corner of the game for the Reds. Joe Max, top of the 6, and Doherty punches it clear. Rebound volley. Doherty smothers it.
Not bad. Not bad if you're right fullback to pack that kind of a punch. I think Dos Santos nearly caught Doherty napping. Doherty in the end made a pretty fine save because that was a laser beam that was laced for the upper corner.
McKinley trying to control. Dooley, a rare miss hit, and Dos Santos steps in to intercept. Outside, Torres volleys it near post, and another brilliant save from Doherty.
Well, Johnny Torres and Paulo Dos Santos peppering Mark Doherty from long range. And this type of surface, such a great playing surface, lets the ball sit up high for those long-range shots.
$18.5 left to go in the first. Chronopoulos takes almost every corner for the Reds. Guarding the front and back post, and Doherty is Columbus. Watch for McKinley on these. Header near side actually glanced off of Yeagley, and they'll do it again.
Well, Chronopoulos, the player most to blame for the Columbus goal, as he gave away possession near his own goal out on the left side. Stern John took it off him, took it in, and crossed to Cunningham for the goal.
McKinley back post over Doherty, and it just skims past Big Mac. When he watches that on the replay, McKinley is going to wonder how he didn't score.
Great chances in the last moments for the New England Revolution. The first one, a big punch by Doherty, but all over this ball is Paulo Dos Santos with the outside of the left foot. Look at the bend on that ball. Fine save there by Doherty. And then here, Johnny Torres, second-year pro. He blasts towards that near upper corner. He teed off on it well, and it was sailing towards where the spiders weave their webs up in that upper corner, but Doherty again reacted well.
Near side run. Moore. Dispossessed by Dooley. Williams, a nice little stutter step, frees Thompson. Back to Williams. Dekes out Kalishman and has a goal of his own from about 30 yards away.
Good combination work there. We look at Jeff Cunningham, the goal scorer today for the Columbus Crew. A night he'll always remember, and we all will. Jeff Cunningham, the first goal ever in this new venue, built for soccer only.
The Rio 200 comes your way on ABC. Coverage in part continues. It's the 5th race of the season. Juan Montoya, the rookie sensation, won the Long Beach Grand Prix and the Nazareth 200. Sunday, 4 Eastern, ABC. Stern John in the box. 2 defenders, a little bit of
Olay.
Tricky footwork. Tyler, make that Andy Williams tries to duplicate the feet, but can't.
That kind of skill work can be so much more appreciated in this type of stadium because the fans are so much closer to the action. Remember, Ohio Stadium had the big track around it. This stadium designed so that many of the fans are only 8 to 9 feet away from the action.
What do they say? 95% of the seats here at the new stadium are closer than the closest seat at Ohio Stadium. And again, this stadium can get even bigger, close to 40,000, but it is one big party here today. Williams to the outside. Thompson in the box. Tries to cut against Dos Santos. Leaves it for Cunningham. Cannot get it past Kalishman. A corner for the Crew.
A well-played game here because even though Columbus went on top in the 10th minute, New England has come back at them and had several scoring chances. They've forced several corner kicks as well, in which they've looked dangerous.
Over Cunningham. Dooley got a head on it. Now to play. Columbus Crew, the road warriors of MLS to start this season. Last 2 years, the Crew went 4-12 on the road. So basically, Tom Fitzgerald just hoped to get 3 or 4 wins. They ended up getting 5. They open up this brand spanking new stadium in first place in the East and looking to hold on to it with the early lead. Torres close to the end line, facing a triple team, and rifles it away for a corner. Torres looked like he'll take this one. And again, McKinley and Savarese. Don't count out Joe Max Moore on these either.
Savarese likes to lurk near that close post for a deflection, a drop down. He's a garbage goal scorer and proud of it. Look at number 17 for New England. Dooley all over it.
In-swinger on Doherty's goal and plenty of bodies in the box. Doherty gets his right to it. Dos Santos again tries on the volley and out for a goal kick. Phil Shane, Ty Keogh with you here on this historic occasion in Columbus, Ohio, and joined by Major League Soccer Commissioner Doug Logan. And Doug, quite a party Lamar Hunt put on here.
We should pay to work here. What a great evening. What, you know, if our bosses find out what a good time we're having, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Speaking of your bosses, the MLS Executive Committee, the other owners, you've been quoted as saying number of times that one more of these stadiums a year you'd like to see as Andy Williams tries to get something going. What's the next thing on the docket, perhaps? When can we see another party like this in MLS?
Well, we're probably a year or 2 away from the next one. There are 3 to 6 markets that are eyeing this stadium, who have representatives here tonight who have watched the construction go on. And I feel pretty certain that, you know, over the course of the next couple of months, we're going to have an announcement to make with regard to where the next one's going to go. We'll be having another party like this in another city. This is a relaunching of our league.
And Doug, what is it that this type of stadium really does for MLS and the game itself?
Well, what it allows us to do is to show respect for our game, show respect for our fans. It allows us to play the game.
Stern John in the box. Hard tackle from behind by Kalishman. Out for a corner kick.
It allows us to play the game to the scale that's appropriate. You know, even when we put crowds of 24,000 and 30,000 in larger stadiums, we get lost in it. So this is ultimately the way this game has got to be respected, in the way that it's played and in the way that it's experienced.
So as far as marketing the sport, as far as the quality of play, this is the way to go.
Oh, this is the future. As I said this morning, we're relaunching the league. This is the future of our league, and I hope that we have an opportunity of dedicating many more of these. We hope to import weather like this and two great teams fighting it out, but no, this is the wave of the future.
Well, Doug Logan, the commissioner for MLS, we appreciate the time. Let you get back to the party.
Great, thanks.
And we won't tell your bosses.
Thanks very much.
11 and a half left to go here in the first. 10 minutes in. Stern John setting up Jeff Cunningham. And that started the party rocking, as though they needed any help. Long blast from Zenga. Joe Max in full flight. Pushes by Clark, almost knocked him into his own keeper.
Well, Mark Doherty showing his experience. They're very quick off of his line. 4 wins already this season. Only Zach Thornton of the Chicago Fire has more wins in 99. But he's also coming very close, Mark Doherty in goal for Columbus, to the all-time record for victories by a goalkeeper. He just tied Tony Meola last week with 40 career victories, and he's trying to overtake Dallas's Mark Dodd, who hasn't played because of an injury either. Both Meola and Dodd out with knee injuries. Doherty 2 wins away from tying Mark Dodd.
One of those quote-unquote nice problems to have. Remember, Doherty would have even gotten the chance if it wasn't for another injury to Jurgen Sommer, and Tom Fitzgerald faces a dilemma now. You'd figure Jurgen Sommer, a player who's been in a couple of World Cups in uniform at least, and a U.S. national team player, would be the obvious choice, but Doherty's, as we've seen here today, earned his keep.
Well, Jurgen Sommer injured his knee going to an alumni game down at Indiana University.
Offside the call, and a dangerous one there.
I asked Sommer, I said, what happened? Were you walking through the gym and Bobby Knight threw a chair? You know, what happened down? It's only an alumni game. But at this moment, they're not sure when Sommer will return. Maybe not until late summer, no pun intended. But Doherty has certainly done the job for the Columbus Crew this season, and he's a big reason for that 5-2 record coming into the home opener here in Columbus.
The fans starting to make their presence felt, stomping on the stands. 10 minutes left to go in the first half. It's easy to say that this is just a regular season game, but there's an electric atmosphere in the stands, which I hope is making it through the wires into your home.
Well, it's also an Eastern Conference matchup. Very important to do well in the head-to-head matchups within your own conference. And Stern John knocks the ball off the field so that Brian Mazanoff could be attended to. He looked to take a forearm right across the face.
Ryan Hall, the referee, trying to make sure all the pieces are in place. Let's take a look.
Really no intent. This is just part of the confusion in midfield. Cutting in front of him, Joe Max Moore. I thought it was Joe Max Moore's right forearm coming up towards Mazanoff's face. And it stung a little bit. He'll shake it off. Mazanoff starting 2 of the 3 World Cup games for the USA this past summer in France.
Andy Williams. And again, Joe Max Moore playing the pest today as he wins yet another ball in the offensive zone. Here's Kalishman. Kelderman. Just seems like New England is trying to go A, B, C, D. At least their forwards are. And a lot of the passes are going straight from A to D. And not many problems for Doherty, except for those 2 chances we showed you moments ago.
Give some credit to Thomas Dooley, who is really organizing the defense out in front of Doherty. And he's got some very workmanlike, disciplined defenders in Mike Lapper and Mike Clark, who match up very well out in front of him.
Kelderman's pass intercepted by Comasco, 2 former teammates in Miami last year. John's offside.
Smart move by Andy Williams. Had he played the ball to Stern John, it would have been an immediate offside, so he held it a little bit longer and tried to squeeze a ball into Brian West out wide. And Brian West not in an offside position, at least not initially. You see both of them in an offside position there. Jeff Cunningham was offside, also way over on the far side.
Neither of them made the effort, so no stoppage. And with 7.5 left to go, the Revolution continue their quest.
Well, they made it tough.
Equalizing.
They made it tough for Andy Williams. He had to hold the ball, hoping that they would creep back onside.
Clark, long ball. Stern John, can he keep his feet? Doesn't matter. Whistled for the foul against Dunseth.
Well, Stern John plays big, and as he should. He was the big man last season. In fact, he led all of Major League Soccer in scoring. 26 goals and 5 assists in only 27 games. It's quite a strike rate.
Drew a lot of interest from Europe, in fact, and as McKinley takes a bash to the back of the head from Mike Clark. Stern admits he's still a little bit peeved that MLS would not sell him to the next level, in effect.
Well, there's some big money in Europe, and he could see those Deutschmarks or even English pounds dancing in front of him.
Touch to the near side by Dunseth. He still has one more option here, and there is an offer on the table from the league, but he's thinking about letting it sit and almost forcing the league's hand. You wonder, though, if what we see here today in Columbus, the excitement and the intensity, might change Stern John's mind.
It's a wonderful place to play, especially if you're a striker of Stern John's capabilities and talents. The ball's coming in from the wing with all that space out there are perfect for his goal-scoring appetite.
He might actually be pretty familiar with his stadium should he get over to Europe. They modeled it after the place that Frankie Hayden calls home, Bayer Leverkusen Stadium.
Well, Stern John winning every air battle there with Brian Dunseth, and it's causing problems at the back for New England.
Long ball picked off by Lapper, and a gentle touch to his former college teammate Thompson. Just over 5 minutes to go in what has been an entertaining first half here in Columbus. Lapper. Yeagley to Williams as they slice the ball through. Mason off inside for Stern John. Intercepted by Kalishman.
You love to see those diagonal balls tucked in behind defenses. The width of the field and the good surface which holds the ball allows those trailing players to come forward and get into the attack.
Clark on the one touch. Aaron Chronopoulos picks it off for the Revs. Here's Kelderman looking forward.
Phil, you mentioned the European design of this stadium. You can see the shadows starting to appear now. There's 4 distinct shadows, much like European lighting system.
Nice pass to Torres. On his back is Clark. Torres knocked to the turf. Dressing it up a little bit. Might have taken a hand to the face, but no foul call. Joe Max Moore and Jeff Cunningham get into a tussle, and the Crew on the short end of this stick.
Well, we've seen some physical play in this game. Hotly contested. We mentioned it's an Eastern Conference matchup. Columbus and Tom Fitzgerald currently on top in the East. He's coming into today's matches. Torres, no worse for the wear, I don't think. He's a tough little guy, one of the smaller guys in the league.
Plays a lot bigger than his 5'6" frame. Here's Horner. Kalishman to the middle. Savarese keeps it alive, and Torres could not control the rebound. Down in the back is Yeagley, but the Crew pushing into the attack regardless. Kalishman up from his defensive role. Dos Santos coming in from right back. Here's Horner on this touch. A lot of open space. Strange to see that with the Crew playing at home.
Edwin Horner trying to get things going in midfield for New England. He looks a little bit like Steven Tyler of Aerosmith. But look at this chance here for New England. They were already trailing, but Dos Santos from long range tries to dial up a tying goal. But Mark Doherty all over it. Doherty again, quick off his line. Very experienced goalkeeper showing it.
Got some help there, as you pointed out earlier, from the ageless veteran Thomas Dooley.
Those are the goals Savarese just gobbles up in dueling you, but he knew where the New England Revolution striker was at all times. Zenga to the outside, and with 2.5 left to go, getting close to halftime. We'll give you a closer look at what's been going on here for the Crew and the man who made it possible, the house that Hunt built, the impact of the stadium around the league, and some interesting quotes from some longtime U.S. veterans and how excited they are to see this, plus highlights from the first half. Stern John could have been offside. The flag stayed down though. Second game here at this stadium will actually not be a Crew game. 1 week from today, the U.S. under-17s, Landon Donovan rejoining the fray, the young striker of the moment for the U.S. In fact, even drawing some comparisons in Europe as the American Michael Owen. But Landon Donovan rejoining the U-17s as they try and close out the home and home with El Salvador for the final berth in the under-17 World Championships. The U.S. won in El Salvador last week 6-1. Jordan Chila, 3 goals and an assist. That game will be followed by the Columbus Crew game against Tampa Bay. That's next week here in Columbus. In fact, a lot of games will be here in Columbus from this point out. 16 of the remaining 25 will be right here on the home turf, and that makes those first 5 wins of the season that much more important. Just over a minute to go. 6th corner of the game for the Revs. Again, Chronopoulos will swing it in. 10 or 12 bodies in front of Doherty. Porter on the volley, and he just knocks down Stern John right in the breadbasket. Stern John took that one right in the midsection, and Porter let him have it. 40 seconds left. Amy Armstrong taking a close look at Stern John.
Takes a little bit more than this to injure Stern John, but this ball in the soft underbelly. Not much Stern John could do to protect himself either. Amy Armstrong in '96, the first ever female appointed as a head trainer to a professional sports team.
Doherty punches it out again. He's been busy. Less than a minute to go. Crew scored first. Can the Revs tie it up before the break? By the way, bad news for the Revs that the Crew did score 3-0 this season when doing so. Can they add a second? Through ball for Camasco against Porter. Rifles it to the near post and just missed.
Hustling down the right side, Matt Camasco from a defensive midfield position gets into the attack. Again, it's Andy Williams' vision and passing ability and early release that gets Camasco into the clear without even looking. It's there into space for Camasco to strike first time. He missed cues on it. As he played that ball, Andy Williams was fouled and was complaining because he was hoping to maybe get a return. I mean, Camasco never really looked for him, but had Camasco looked for him to do the give and go, Williams would not have been there.
65 miles per hour on that one, and a little slower pace on the way to the locker room. History made tonight, and the Crew in the lead at the break.
11 blue flag warriors stand on the brink of battle and ask themselves, where is the other team?
Groovin' on a Sunday afternoon.
Nothing helps you kick back at the end of the day like Tostitos chips and salsa.
I can't imagine it.
We do suggest you actually wait till the end of the day.
He's a fine dancer, too.
Dig in, kick back with new hint of lime Tostitos.
In the battle against athlete's foot, you gotta have boom, tough actin' Tenactin. Now in a new pump spray. Nothing stops the itching, burning, and cracking like clinically proven Tenactin antifungals. They're so tough, they can even prevent athlete's foot. Get boom, tough actin' Tenactin. Who can solve this? Mr. Montez.
Last Saturday in the Army Reserve, I linked up 40 tanks, 60 Humvees, and 7,000 troops. On Monday, class was no sweat.
Not bad, Mr. Montez.
As little as 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Army Reserve.
folks. A large pepperoni pizza.
And a Pepsi, please.
Sure thing, Curly.
Thank you.
Hey, we both know I ordered a Pepsi Cola. And now you've insulted me by offering me this. I'd like to give you a chance to make amends. Capiche? Here you go.
Good
Major League Soccer on ESPN2 is brought to you by Yahoo. Do you Yahoo? By Adidas. And by Pepsi, the joy of cola. Well, the Columbus Crew halfway towards that goal. 1-0 at the break thanks to Jeff Cunningham. From a player perspective, veterans and rookies alike from around the league are raving about what this new stadium means.
The owners themselves are taking the initiative, building those stadiums for the future, and hoping that we can, keep the game of soccer alive here at the professional level.
I think it's great for America to have really the first official soccer stadium that's been built from the ground up. I think it says a lot for American soccer. It shows the growth for American soccer, and I think Columbus is a great place to start out.
To me, it's a big deal. It's a groundbreaking. It's something that we need to see in the MLS, and as individually, it gives me hope. And it gives me hope that not only can the league make it, but also soccer in general make it to the big time. And we need to follow this example, and hopefully other cities will do.
You can't really stress the importance of having your own stadium, something that you don't have to share with a football team or a baseball team or whatever kind of events that are going on. Something that's truly ours, that belongs to MLS, is what's best and what's most important for the league.
Lamar Hunt, a man who is used to breaking new ground, back in 1960, helped start the AFL. Also very responsible for the Super Bowl we have today. And Lamar Hunt joining us right now. And we talked about startups like the AFL, back with the Dallas Tornado as well in the Super Bowl. One thing you've always preached is it takes a little bit of patience. You have to be very patient, perhaps, to see the seed take root.
Well, that's for sure, and I think I must be an idiot for startups, but this has been a fun one, and the development of this stadium, I think, is going to be a very positive thing for Major League Soccer and for soccer growth in this country.
Same point. This is a $30 million down payment, not counting the other money you spent on both the Wizards and the Crew.
Well, it's not quite that much, but it's 28.5 is the last I heard. We had a lot of nice touches that we put in and wanted to make sure we got in, and we're proud of the facility, and I think it's going to pay off in the long run.
Well, one thing that happened earlier today, as well as cutting the ribbon, it's the Medal of Honor from the National Soccer Hall of Fame that Lamar Hunt was awarded, and I have a feeling that this stadium right here will be even a lasting tribute for you. Thank you very much from one soccer fan to another, and best of luck.
Well, thanks. I'm very flattered. It's kind of an ambitious sounding title on this, but I'm very appreciative of it.
Well, keep up the good work.
All right. Thanks.
Lamar Hunt, the man of the hour, and the house that Lamar built right now sees the Crew in the lead.
Do you have insurance?
No.
We're going to need to confiscate your license.
Oh, but I need to drive.
Sorry, sir.
How will I get to work?
You'll have to get coverage. State fines and penalties could run up to $300.
$300? I gotta call 1-800-SAFE-AUTO.
Our representatives are standing by, so call Safe Auto now for the insurance required at guaranteed low monthly payment.
Say 1-800-SAFE-AUTO.
I'm here with Dr. Carol Hildebrand, Wellington Honored Economist. So, Doctor, you must know a lot about inflation.
Of course.
Then how does a car's performance relate to a tire's inflation pressure?
I have no idea.
Well, that's okay, because as much as Dr. Hildebrand knows about global economics, Discount Tire Company knows about tires. Tires and wheels are all we sell. So, Doctor, who balances your checkbook?
It's your husband, isn't it?
Discount Tire Company. It's all you need to know.
Morning, ESPN 644, 6 License, 4644. ESPN.
6'1", all-world from the University of Hawaii, the titan of the keyboard, his finest of the highlight, Larry Beal. Type 4 from Namco.
PlayStation.
Why do I get up when other people are just coming home for the night? Because I want to live forever. Why do I keep going when my body screams stop? Because I want to live forever. Why do I deny myself all fatty foods and drink only the most expensive bottled water? Because
Gee, that was kind of ironic, wasn't it?
So anyway,
drink Aquafina. Pure water, no attitude.
In the 10th minute, Jeff Cunningham followed the script and put the Crew in the lead. 45 minutes more to play. Plenty of history here today and plenty of history this summer. And you can join ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC Sports. The U.S. women trying to win back the World Cup. It starts June 19th on ESPN. Brazil, Mexico on the Deuce at 10:30. Japan against Canada. Next Saturday at 2 Eastern, ESPN2's coverage of MLS continues. El Diablo returning to D.C. along with leading goal scorer Roy Lassiter taking on the Miami Fusion. MLS all season long on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. We'll show you the goal plus some of the Revs' chances, and the second half kickoff just moments away. Keep it tuned to the Deuce.
Shave it off.
Okay.
It's just this dandruff.
Well, we can take care of that.
Head and Shoulders?
Unlike regular shampoos, Head and Shoulders helps prevent flakes before they start.
Glad I didn't do something stupid like shave my head.
Head and Shoulders.
A little drop of water. What could it do to your car's finish? Plenty. Unless you use Rain-X Ultra Wax. With the same super water repelling action you get in Rain-X for windshields, it's easy to use. It makes water bead right up and roll right off, so it can't magnify the sun's harmful UV rays or form those nasty water spots. So use new Rain-X Ultra Wax. Nothing sticks but the shine.
Hey, Jen, we're counting on you.
Last weekend in the Army Reserve, I had to refuel 6 Apache helicopters in 30 minutes. That got me ready to do battle on Monday.
Hey, not too shabby.
As little as 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Army Reserve.
8,000 mutual funds. And everybody's looking for a winner. But chasing the latest hot fund won't get you anywhere. To pick a mutual fund, find out how they pick their stocks. At Janus, they pick stocks one at a time. They investigate companies like nobody else and invest in the most promising ones. That's how you get there. Janus Mutual Funds.
Tomorrow on ESPN, SportsCenter leads off, followed by Baseball Tonight and Sunday Night Baseball, the Giants at the Astros. On ESPN2, RPM Tonight, World's Strongest Man and Karate. And on ESPN Classic Click and Pick, Morgan McEnroe in the 1980 U.S. Open, and Sunday Drives. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
This copyrighted telecast of Major League Soccer and ESPN cannot be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the expressed written consent of Major League Soccer and ESPN.
Welcome back. It is historic, but it's also fun. Phil Shane, Ty Keogh with you, and it's one big party in front of 24,000 of our closest friends, I guess.
Well, there's a party atmosphere on the field, too. You know this motivates the players. They've got all this space and this great surface to create attractive soccer, and some of the attractive soccer turned into a goal. It was a steal first by Stern John off of Ted Chronopoulos. Stern John, the early cross. Jeff Cunningham on the second touch. Buries it. Here's another look from inside. Despite close marking from Kalichman, Cunningham still turns it on target. He has scored 3 consecutive goals for Columbus. A good chance here off a corner kick for New England. Dos Santos from long range. Nick Doherty was up to it. Also, the little bull, Johnny Torres, almost snuck one in at the upper corner. But Doherty again, well positioned.
Take a look at the statistics, and the Revolution getting the better of play, but the worse on the scoreboard.
They have more shots, and they have a lot more possession, 57%, and that's something they pride themselves on to try and keep the ball away from Columbus.
Well, we're halfway towards the end of what could be a beautiful night in Columbus. 1-0 at the break.
Call
1-800-HAIR-CLUB right now for a free brochure. Your free hair, all you have to do is prepay for a basic club plan. That's it.
Can't believe you can slick it straight back and it still looks natural. I love it. I've never felt this good after a haircut.
You don't feel any difference in this hair, you know, any hair. And it still stays, see?
So call 1-800-HAIR-CLUB right now for a free brochure.
What sets some people apart? Gives them the confidence to succeed on their own terms. It's no secret, it's the Wall Street Journal. Now you can have that confidence delivered for 13 weeks at just $36.75, just 57 cents a day. That's a 25% savings off our regular rate, which makes now a great time to try this limited time offer.
Call now, 800-248-1300. That's 800-248-1300 for the Wall Street Journal.
A great tradition reborn on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. Live from Foxwoods Resort Casino, Dana Rosenblatt takes on Lloyd Bryant. Plus, Edwin Santana and Richard Gotti in a 10-round junior lightweight bout. Friday Night Fights, Friday at 9 on ESPN2.
Oh, brother, now I've seen it all.
What's that?
They gave the ferret a teleprompter.
Teleprompter. Well, I guess he can't memorize his lines, huh?
Memorize his lines. The guy's a door jam. I don't know why they give him so much
Well,
slack.
that's because he's got a good look.
A good look?
Yeah, look at him. He looks like a little European filmmaker.
I had a good look.
Louis, no lizard has a good look.
What are you talking about?
We're not a good-looking species.
We're not... You have no pride, Frank.
I simply know my limitations.
I am classically chiseled.
Now a call from the road is like a call from the park. Because now they're as affordable as calling from home. Introducing AT&T Personal Network. Your calling card calls, wireless calls, and long-distance calls from home are just 10 cents a minute. All for just $29.99 a month. You can even add internet access. Just call 1-800-4ATT now. AT&T Personal Network. Now, no matter how you call, it's like calling from home. Call 1-800-4ATT now.
ESPN2's coverage of Major League Soccer is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of MLS. This Bud's for you. And by AT&T Personal Network. Communications has finally caught up with the way you live. Soccer fans, soccer players alike always wanted a home of their own, and they finally have the new Mecca. Obviously, the Meadowlands Giant Stadium, one of the highlights in U.S. soccer history with the storied past of the Cosmos, but nothing like what we have here. The house specifically for MLS. Soccer's new generation here in Columbus. Brian Hall getting set to start out the second half is Tom Fitzgerald. Plenty of reasons to smile on his face, win or lose tonight. Although winning, I think this smile might last a little longer. Underway, and the Revolution in white attacking the goal to the right, manned so admirably by Mark Doherty. And the black-clad crew will be looking to add to their tally towards the left in Walter Zenga. I'd like to thank MasterCard and all of our other MLS sponsors for allowing us to bring you tonight's game without an interruption. Jeff Cunningham interrupted Walter Zenga's shutout streak, and right now looking to add to his tally. Well, that shot skitters wide.
In fact, the legendary Spider-Man Walter Zenga in the nets for New England had shut out Columbus 3 consecutive times prior to this, including a game that was eventually won by Columbus in a shootout just a few weeks ago on April 18th. But Zenga had won as a player on a shootout. He had won as a coach in a shutout, I should say, and then also as a player coach. He's done it all.
Cleared away by Mike Lapper. Thompson off balance, stolen by Dos Santos, who has been impressive. Off balance shot from Moore across the face of the goal, and McKinley just whistles the rebound wide.
Well executed attack there by New England. First the cross from the right by Joe Max Moore. Joe Max Moore was able to find Savarese deep in the box at the far side. Savarese very intelligently knocking the ball out to the edge of the box. McKinley just a little bit off target, but I think it scared Mark Doherty.
Doherty started out with Tampa Bay. They won the regular season championship back in '96 before being upset in the playoffs. 31 years of age. Right about the time where many top goalkeepers are hitting their prime. Nice touch again by Williams. He loves this field, you can tell it. Thompson.
So much space, ready to spray balls around.
Foul against Dos Santos. Free kick, 25 yards away.
Well, this is the type of play which would be tailor-made for the presence of Brian McBride with the Columbus Crew. McBride, though, broke his cheekbone last week in the win at San Jose. Will be out for at least 4 weeks. I talked to him last night about it.
Inside, flipped to the back post, but over Dooley and out for the goal kick.
But Brian McBride, when he injured the cheekbone, he actually said he felt the bone come up towards his eye. And did a nice job on the surgery. You can't even see where they made the incision. They did it in one of the creases just below his, actually on his lower eyelid. And some of the bones were actually shattered. So the surgery had to clean a lot of things up in there. We'll hope he'll be back soon.
Well, they actually had to put in a couple of titanium plates that are going to be staying there for life, right, Ty?
He'll be setting off those airport security x-rays.
Just over 3 minutes gone here in the second half of play. Moore to the middle, give and go to Gorder. A return pass to the middle for Savarese. Kelderman slams it off of Lapper, who just lost his bearings as well, perhaps as a few teeth.
Again, very attractive approach play by the New England Revolution. They've combined well now on 2 consecutive occasions going forward, and Kelderman nearly finished it off with a net ripper.
Far side, Dooley. Nice turn by Cunningham. Had Camasco in front of him. Desperation slide from McKinley. Kalishman pulls down Camasco. Play on, says Brian Hall, and he had a good view.
You know the guy's guilty, though, when he's got his arms up that high.
Here's Horter, who seconds ago combined with Joe Max Moore in some sheer brilliance.
Boy, Mike Lapper paid the price a moment ago in blocking Kelderman's shot. He's got to still be feeling that, and will be for the rest of the game, probably.
Cunningham showing a little bit of touch you normally don't see from a front runner, and Porter touches him to the turf. Stern John, a nice pass to Williams. Near side touch to Lapper on side. Dos Santos on D. And Lapper, that's why he plays defense.
But it's so nice to be able to spread the play out wide and get defensive players to join the attack. On the sideline, New England warming up several players. The one in the furthest distance, in fact, John Hartz.
That's Jair.
Hartz at the top of the screen.
Jamar Beasley, the youngster, also stretching out. Nice back heel from Joe Max Moore. Torres on the turn, and the ageless veteran Thomas Dooley withstands one more challenge.
John Hart's hoping to make his first appearance for the New England Revolution. He's missed the whole season thus far with a right knee injury.
Stern John's presence kept Cunningham offside. Onside, make that. Pushed down in the box, and a goal kick, says Hall.
Some contact here for sure as Cunningham again uses his speed to try and turn the corner on the New England defense. Dunset step for step with him. It's just a nudge. They're shoulder to shoulder. And the key there, Phil, it was from the side, the contact. Had that contact been even slightly from behind, for sure it's a penalty kick.
Some of the Columbus fans don't quite agree. Captain for life and other temporary assignments. That's the name of the book that John Hartz will be releasing later this month. But right now, just happy to get back into the middle of this. Coming to New England, there were some questions whether he'd even accept the trade. Did not want to leave D.C., but did so. Ended up getting hurt in the process and finally working his way back to full speed. And after meeting and talking to Walter Zenga, I guess the only thing he wants with D.C. right now would be revenge. Nice little flick from Mazanoff. And a nice grab from Zenga.
Remember Zenga performing a dual role as the player coach for the New England Revolution. Not only that, he's playing with an injured right groin. He did not expect going into this game to play the full 90 minutes. Jeff Causey's on the bench, ready to go. In fact, Causey came on for an injured Zenga last week in the shootout victory by New England over Miami. Causey did quite well, so Zenga feels pretty good about using Causey if he feels that the right groin injury won't hold up.
Order with Dos Santos open on the near side. Instead, give and go with Kelderman outside of the boot flick. Sails over Dooley. Savarese fighting for it. Dooley. Hard to believe he's 38.
Well, at 38, he should still be able to make that kind of a clearance. The tough part is having to get up after.
Without help. Out for the throw.
I make that clearance. Just dig a hole for me right there. Roll me into it. Dooley, an amazingly disciplined athlete. He's kept his body in such fine shape that even at the age of 38, we saw him making a full field run in the first half, and he nearly got away on a breakaway to score.
Chronopoulos with a soft touch inside. Kelderman the return pass. Tomasco on defense. Sends it away for the throw. Like to welcome to the booth another one of the prestigious guests of honor, you might say, U.S. Soccer Secretary General Hank Steinbrecher. And Hank, what can you say, what can you add to the story that's taking place down here on the field tonight?
I don't think there's anything I can add. I'm absolutely ecstatic about this. I had an opportunity to talk to the crew before they came out on the field in the locker room, and simply told them that as a young player myself, when I grew up, there was absolutely nothing here for soccer. And to have them come out on the field that was built only for them and specifically for them, we really have arrived.
So when you were a young player, that was quite some time ago. Eh?
That was a long time ago.
But the fact is, looking at these type of venues for U.S. soccer, the ability to bring in women's national team games, youth national team games, this is the perfect setting.
Ty, this is absolutely fantastic. As you know, our U17 team will be here next weekend to play a preliminary match. We've announced now that our Open Cup final will be played here on September the 14th. This is an absolutely perfect venue for us. We'll certainly be bringing on the women's team and perhaps the Olympic team coming in. This is absolutely electric for soccer.
What about the home field advantage to be able to bring U.S. teams to the heartland? I think that makes a difference.
You know, I've always thought that soccer was a great product, but we've had to play in inappropriate packaging, which is these large stadiums. Now we have a package that really fits our product. Just look at the ambiance in this stadium. It's absolutely fantastic. It's riveting.
Dos Santos, a nice switch, and you kind of talk about it. If you build it, they will come. The U17 national team, a huge game next week against El Salvador, took some of the pressure off, perhaps, with a nice 6-1 win against El Salvador last week.
And for me, Hank, what a motivator for young players in the United States to see a palace like this, to strive for, to play for U.S. teams here in this type of venue.
Ty, I can't tell you, I was with the team in El Salvador last week, the U17 team, and they are dreaming about coming up here to play. This is absolutely such a highlight for them. It's going to be terrific. And, you know, we have to thank the Hunt family. I mean, what Lamar has done for soccer for the last 20 years has just been, it's been outstanding. What a benefactor for our sport.
Lamar Hunt proving to be a pioneer in many sports, and certainly soccer has given him the chance to shine again and with another success. Hank, thank you very much.
Absolutely great. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're going to enjoy
game going on.
We're going to enjoy a lot of great matches here at this
Thanks
stadium.
so much, guys.
All right, thank you. U.S. Soccer Secretary General Hank Steinbrecher, former coach in his own right. Gotta like the palace that he sees here in Columbus. 10 minutes gone in the second half. 1-0 Crew leads. Thanks to some brilliant goalkeeping from Mark Doherty.
Well, Phil, when you think of milestones in the sport of soccer here in the United States, a couple more recent ones include DC United's championship in the Inter-American Cup. They are the champions of the entire Western Hemisphere, having beaten Brazilian team Vasco da Gama in a 2-game series last November.
Don't forget the Fire's come-from-behind performances, both in the MLS Cup and the Open Cup last year.
Chicago Fire doing the double in '98.
Cunningham with a change of pace, cuts inside Dos Santos in the box. Cunningham passed another, and somehow Dos Santos or Dumset just got a boot in.
That looked like a sure lock for a goal there with Cunningham's speed and dribbling, but also with Stern John breaking into the box. The option was there for the pass. Cunningham couldn't quite get it delivered in time.
We talked about DC. I brought up the Fire. In my mind, nothing to slight those two teams or their and lasting. Far side, Chronopoulos on the run. In fact, he is not really respecting the Columbus Crew defense as he's pushed all the way into the attack. Dos Santos trying to touch it past Mazenon.
But we've seen New England starting to establish more and more possession again. They did much of that in the first half. They had the advantage and minutes of possession, but they were not able to translate it into a goal. So far, that lightning quick strike from Stern John and Jeff Cunningham, the lone goal in this game.
Dos Santos, Savarese, McKinley should have thrown a head in. Instead, it's straight to Doherty. Backpedaling Dunseth against Stern John. Mano a mano, and the foul against the Trinidadian forward.
Well, what you're seeing there is Stern John did commit the first foul. Dunseth then piled into him. Really a good call by Brian Hall, and I'll disagree with the 24,000 people in attendance here tonight.
The other referees?
Well, except New England has about 300 fans here that came in on several busloads.
Far side, Williams. Nice cut, Damasco pitching forward. Delicate touch to the outside for Cunningham. Plenty of black jerseys in the box, and Stern John is one of them, hammering it home for the second of the night.
Jeff Cunningham returned the favor. He returned the favor by setting up Stern John. It was the exact opposite on the first goal, cross from Stern John to Cunningham. This time it's Stern John finishing it off. He's unmarked at the back post. Good little ball here by Damasco. Nice combination play. And look at Stern John by himself. He's waving the whole time, trying to draw attention to the fact that he's there to put it away. And put it away he did. And he jammed it into the upper corner.
John, who had been struggling to find his scoring touch, as Porter denied by the defense. Well, he found it there, past Walter Zenga. 2-0 Crew. Here's Stern John again, trying to turn around Kalishman, and he caught it on the outside, trying to bend it for the upper corner.
Stern John likes to score goals in bunches. Last season, he had several multiple goal games. When he strikes once, many times he heats up and strikes again.
Yeagley controls for Columbus.
All the way to the 14th,
Duel to Yeagley. And all of a sudden, the Revolution cannot be content with trying to fight for one goal to equalize. Now they need to get two just to force it to a shootout. And the way Cunningham and Stern John have combined, the Crew might not be done scoring tonight. 1 hour gone, 30 minutes left to go. Clark to Yeagley, former Hoosier teammates in college. Dooley, a long blast upfield, and again, you cannot stress enough, that would have been in the third row of seats at Ohio Stadium. Near side, Cunningham knocked to the turf and gets up angry.
Cunningham, only his third start of the season. He's got a goal and an assist on the night. He had both goals for the Columbus Crew last week.
Not bad for a couple of days' work. Near side Lapper wide open, and he'll use it. Billy Thompson back to Lapper. Maisenoff trying to show in the alley. Instead, they'll drop it back to Dooley. And again, because of the bigger field, Columbus has plenty more room to run out the clock. Obviously, with a half hour left to go, maintaining possession more the story. Williams pushed to the turf by Kalishman in a free kick some 35 yards out. Substitution getting set to come in as Kalishman, a yeoman-like effort.
Well, it's a long day at the office for Dan Kalishman, trying to track down both Stern John, last year's MLS leading scorer, and young 22-year-old Jeff Cunningham, who's been on fire the last 2 games for New England.
Chris Kelderman, the defensive midfielder, out. They need attack, and that's what the youngster Jamar Beasley brings. There's the Beasley parents, Henry and Joetta. Quite a family out of Fort Wayne. His younger brother DeMarcus, part of that under-17 team we were talking about.
And Jamar, the youngest player signed to a Project 40 contract. We saw him in his debut last year on ABC come up with an assist for the New England Revolution. He does bring speed and quickness and that youthful exuberance to the attack for New England.
Yeagley, Maisenoff, and Stern John around the free kick. Stern John slams it into a hard-charging Joe Max Moore, but Stern John's perseverance almost brought him alone in the box. Williams fighting for it, dances past another defender, but Dunseth reaches in to knock it loose. First touch of the game for Beasley. Right now talking with Ivan McKinley, trying to check out the assignments. Mike Clark pushing up the wing.
It looks like Joe Max Moore will push back into an attacking midfield slot.
Stern John onside, Zenga out of the box, and John rifles it towards the face of the goal. Zenga, a few words to say to the Crew striker.
I think Zenga a little bit disappointed in Stern John's celebration after the goal, which put Columbus up 2 goals. And the ball coming in may have been offside here. Zenga's with them all the way, just off balance with Stern John as he tried to bend it towards the net.
Dunseth upfield. Zenga, the MVP for the Revolution back in 1997. And this is a team that desperately needed his performance on the field and his leadership off of it. They struggled all of last year, and with Zenga back in the fold, the Revolution in contention in the East. But the Crew, the story of the year so far. First on the road and tonight at their brand new home. The first goal scorer and the setup of the second belonging to Cunningham on the ball now.
The thing's opening up here as New England pushes more players forward. They brought on Beasley as an attacker, taking off a defensive midfielder in Kelderman. But it leaves more space for counterattacks like this for Columbus.
Here's Cunningham, Stern John, and Matt Camasco wide open on the outside. Can he get there? No, just in front of Zenga. He stuck a boot in.
He clipped him.
That could be a yellow. If Brian Hall saw it, Zenga making it obvious what happened.
Well, Zenga, 39 years old, but he's going to pay the price here. Cunningham trying to slice the ball all the way over to the right side to Camasco. It's not really played well. In fact, Zenga's all over it, and he does get stomped on slightly. It looks like the middle of the right side of his back, perhaps his ribs. Zenga gets over there, reads it. And really, Camasco, I think, tried to stay off of him as much as possible instead of stomping down on him. But that left leg tags him, and he's going to feel that. And he's going to milk it for the most that he can, too.
Take a look at the Budweiser scoring summary so far, and it's all been Columbus, even though New England has had more of the possession. But Cunningham from John in the 10th, and some 50 minutes later, Cunningham returned the favor, and Stern John in the scoring column. Jeff Causey, one of the DC keepers. In fact, he was the keeper in the very first MLS game back in San Jose. The backup earning a win last week in his first appearance of the season, filling in for Zenga. Remember, he's still hurting, and he had to stretch himself out, so kind of a double injury for Zenga right now. Zenga sending a message to Comasco. Take a look at this. Both of them on the field right now. The one thing that Beasley can say is that's not going to get any younger. Every game Zenga plays, right now he trails only Thomas Ravelli in the all-time oldest column.
Well, Zenga's out there just to make Thomas Dooley feel young.
Carlos Valderrama can also, you know, leave one or two gray hairs in. Phil Shane, Ty Keel with you here at the Columbus Crew Stadium. Got to do something to honor Lamar Hunt, maybe Hunt Field or something like that, but this is a man who gave his all for this sport, for the NFL and AFL back then at the same time. Truly a sports pioneer.
The soccer pioneer Lamar Hunt, I think he'd be just happy with a victory here in this first night at his new stadium.
Here's Savarese with a chance. Beasley pushing up. And nice read by Lapper.
And this atmosphere here, certainly a 12th man evident for the Columbus Crew. They were outshot in the first half despite having the 1-goal lead by 8-5. Here in the second half, they're out shooting New England 7-3, so Columbus has stepped it up.
McKinley might have had a chance, but leaves the shooting to someone else. Joe Max fighting for it. Mazanoff gets it. Border the inside. Max on the volley. Joe Max Moore. 20 of the players in the field wouldn't have even thought of that. Midway point of the second half. The U.S. women nearing their Women's World Cup. Top scorer Mia Hamm, 2 goals away from being the all-time women's scorer of all time. Looking to take on Holland. Soldier Field in Chicago Sunday at 2. Don't forget Women's World Cup. June 19th it starts. ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC Sports. Here's Dos Santos.
He almost scored one from a long range in the first half.
McKinley, he has a cannon, as Mike Lapper finds out. Switch to the near side. Thompson heads it wide. It'll be just shy of the flag for a throw.
Lapper going to be black and blue after this game, blocking that shot just now from McKinley. Before, remember, Kelderman drilled him. Part of the Caribbean connection. Hansel Elcock, Stern John's first cousin from Trinidad coming on.
Talked about Beasley coming in for offense. Andy Williams disappeared a little bit in the second half, but he had a good game. And Hansel Elcock, Mr. Everything for the Crew. Put him anywhere, he'll play well.
Well, give Andy Williams some credit even on this second goal here. He's the one that played the ball to Comasco, who then sent it to Cunningham. Cunningham crossed to Stern John, so the possession play out of midfield paying off in a goal. Andy Williams started it after getting the ball from Thomas Dooley.
Dos Santos back to Dunseth. Cunningham pressuring. Here's Chronopoulos. This New England team does have plenty of players with some offensive flair. Here's one of them, Torres, inside for Joe Max Moore, who is leaning in the other direction. Stern John, the big man for the Crew, has delivered tonight, Ty. Elcock back to his cousin. Touch back to Lapper.
I mentioned earlier some of New England's injuries. John Hart's certainly not going to be 100% even if he does get in on this game here. He was warming up pretty vigorously a couple of moments ago, but Mike Burns didn't make the trip, hamstring problem. Himad Baba's been out the entire season due to groin surgery. Jair, a very good midfield player for New England, missing because of a stomach virus.
Savarese can't beat Lapper to the ball. Jair is dressed and listed as a sub, but you would not get 100%. Dos Santos sticks a cleat into the midsection of Brian Mazanoff. Inadvertent, a little reckless to say the least.
Yeagley playing the ball in. Now this ball's loose. Both of them sliding, but that second leg from Dos Santos coming into the thigh of Mazanoff.
Don't know if you mentioned Imad Baba. Paul Keegan, Richard Alusha also on the walking wounded list for the Revolution, not available.
Well, the Columbus Crew got on the board in the first half, also in the second half. There's Andy Williams to Mac Comasco, then out to a totally unmarked Jeff Cunningham, and he finds a wide open Stern John at the back post, and Stern John, he couldn't make it look any easier than that.
Stern John, the man of the hour, he has responded tonight. The target man for the Revolution, not so much.
Savarese really hasn't been involved much at all. We see Stern John has worked hard, 22 touches, 4 shots, and especially a goal and an assist on the evening.
The Revolution, as you mentioned, Beasley in. That basically leaves 3 more field players to choose among. Jair hampered, Parks hampered among them. Only other player is Tony Kuhn, who was picked up off waivers from Chicago. And basically that's because against some of the defenses, Columbus is included, the aerial assaults towards Johnny Torres, only 5'6", not going to worry too many defenses. In the middle, Chronopoulos and McKinley combined to clear, and a nice header from Horter. Here's a good bit of work from New England. Can Beasley do something with it? Beasley past Lapper. Lapper rides him off, and physical enough to draw the challenge and the foul. It will be a free kick, dead on, some 30 yards away.
Well, this is Joe Max's range, no question about it. He could get New England right back into this game. A 2-goal lead is always so deceiving because with 1 goal, cuts the lead in half, but it changes the momentum. Joe Max has already scored 2 goals from free kick situations this season, much like this setup from this range.
Far enough away, he can bend it over the wall and under the pipe. And he just could not bend it enough on that one, though. Scratching his head, trying to figure out how to get the Reds back in this one. Just under 60 on the Pepsi power gun.
Joe Max more disappointed there. He probably put a little extra force into it because of his frustration. His team trailing by 2.
Robert Barzia coming in for Mazanoff, who is beat up after today's game. Barzia, one of the heroes of the Crew, maybe not a starter anymore, but he is in the heart of all Crew fans. First of all, for what he puts on the field and a lot of the trials and tribulations he has faced off of it.
Barzia's son, Bartos, now back at school, but had a serious bout with a tumor in his chest. In fact, it was cancerous. But he's in remission, and there's high hopes, and he's been out kicking the ball around with the Crew players at practices, too.
So's Dad. Talk about free kicks, he's pretty good. Here's a chance for Dos Santos. Wide open in the middle, and a beautiful diving header from Dooley. Clearing the zone, back in by Horter, and Dooley up to clear it again. Elcott and Thompson, and the Crew defense breathes.
Well, if you want to know why the Columbus Crew came into tonight's games on top in the Eastern Conference, just look at the performance of Thomas Dooley at the back, a member of the AT&T Best 11 in MLS in '98, and also Stern John, a member of the Best 11 players named. And here's the chance, Dooley on the diving header, clearing the danger away. McKinley lurking in there, trying to get on the end of it. Dos Santos had penetrated at the right side. Columbus right now have changed their setup. They started the game in a 3-back system with Dooley as the sweeper with 2 marking backs out in front of him. Now with Ansel Elcock playing left back, they have 4 backs with both Lapper and Dooley as central defenders and Mike Clark as the right back. So they're trying to consolidate this 2-goal lead by playing with 4 across the back.
A lot of coaches say that actually gives you better offense. Perhaps because the midfielders know their roles a little bit better, less defensive responsibilities.
That's not the point here, though, because it brings better offense if you're going to let your wingbacks get into the attack. I don't think that's what Tom Fitzgerald, the Columbus coach, has planned right now.
Torres has a hard time controlling it on the far side.
Although right now, Mike Clark has moved up from right back to play right midfield. Matt Comasco, very comfortable, though, has slid in Clark's place to take the right back assignment.
Cunningham back to the outside. Barzia rifles it to the middle, cleared by Callister. Crew have used 2 of their substitutes already. Ansel Elcock coming in, as has Robert Barzia. Here's Yeagley pushing up from D-mid. Stolen away by Beasley. 4 black jerseys playing catch-up on defense. Offside flag stays down. The speedy Beasley one-on-one against Ansel Elcock. loses him. He can do better on the shot. Ansel Elcock said he's not met a forward who can outrace him. He might have just been introduced to the youngster there. Speaking of history, a little bit more being made right here. John Hart's waiting to come in. Jason Farrell will come in for Billy Thompson, but Horner out, and John Hart's New England Revolution career begins tonight.
John Hart's, of course, former captain of the U.S. national team. 2 World Cups under his belt, but not the '98 World Cup. Also captain for 2 championships, 2 MLS Cups at DC United. Not to mention the Inter-American Cup last year for DC, beating Vasco da Gama for the championship of the hemisphere.
Torres looking to thread the ball through for Beasley. Could have done better. Jason Farrell picked up from Seattle and MLS. Part of the Frank Klopas situation in the expansion draft with the Chicago Fire.
How about Farrell? He can't find a starting position in this team, and he scored the game-winning goal in Kansas City 2 games ago. He scored the winning shootout the game before that. But yeah, what more can he do? But we mentioned it last week, how much depth this Columbus Crew team has, and it's been a bit of a difference.
Hart's first touch, good. The second touch, a shot that sails over the bar.
Hart's right knee is the one right now that's not 100%. He decided to take a shot with it anyway. In fact, that's how he had re-aggravated the medial collateral ligament a couple of weeks ago. He would have been back sooner.
Hart's dropping back alongside Ivan McKinley as a central/defensive midfielder, but he's going to be pushing up a lot. Came in for Horner, so basically they're going to need Hart's and Joe Max Moore to control some of the playmaking. Here's Hart's turning away from Farrell. Back to McKinley. And there is Joe Max Moore dropping back. Chronopoulos with Torres on his left. Hart's in the middle. He'll leave it for Moore. Elcock trying a little bit of trickery and maybe got a break on that one.
Well, Savarese, they're just not on the same page with Joe Max Moore. Moore tried to pop a ball into the center of the box, and Savarese was still floating towards the back post.
New England trails by 2. And it's either Tony Kuhn or Jair, unless they want to put Jeff Causey, the backup keeper, in the box. And it looks like Jair, despite his flu, will be out there for the remaining 12 and a half to try and get the Rebs back in this one. Dunseth. Here's Hart's.
We talked about Hart's accomplishments here in the U.S. and the U.S. national team, but he's also done quite a lot on the other side of the Atlantic, scoring goals at Wembley. A great career in England.
Dos Santos looking for a give and go, still loose in the area, tumbles. Lapper appealing for a yellow card against Dos Santos for a dive, and he might have an argument. Here's a collision between Kalishman and Stern John, who are on a first-name basis after this game.
And right from the opening seconds. Dos Santos sneaks in behind Lapper. He's trying to create something out of nothing there, and he's lucky he doesn't get a yellow card for diving there because Lapper didn't touch him.
Jair is in the game, the Cape Verdean replacing Johnny Torres. In fact, speaking of Cape Verdean, putting together a national team, and even though he's lived in Boston for the last several years, a good chance that Jair will be part of it. Dos Santos, the second try at charm. He does go into the book as he tackles Jason Farrell. Dos Santos also could be part of that Cape Verdean team.
Well, Jason Farrell, real nice turn of speed. Used the width of this field well to get in behind Dos Santos. Dos Santos deliberately pulling on his jersey to stop his forward progress, and that's an automatic yellow. No surprise.
Farrell back to Yeagley, leaves it inside for Cunningham, who had an open path to goal. Nice flick on the far side by Jair. Chronopoulos. And again, remember, the Revolution knew, according to the script, they were supposed to lose this game.
Yeah, but that's not how you approach it.
Here's Farrell. Far side is John. Farrell will try and bend it around Zenga, who got down quickly.
Takes a little bit more than that to beat Signore Spider-Man.
Just ask Peter Vermees. If Zenga had gone on a diet, the U.S. ties Italy. Hit him in the backside before Valresi cleared it away.
9 years ago. It's a great effort by a young U.S. team.
Perhaps the one bright spot in World Cup 1990. Bob Gansler, the coach of that team, back in Kansas City, and he got a win his first time out.
And much of that experience gained there at the 90 World Cup helped the U.S. do as well as they did in 94.
Here's Comasco. He was involved in the second goal, and a nice early ball for Barzia. Into the middle for John. Loose ball, whistle blows, foul against Columbus. If the whistles had gone the other way, Columbus could be blowing out the Revolution tonight.
I didn't see much there, Phil. It's been pretty consistent by Brian Hall in the middle. Remember, we saw a moment ago Dos Santos go down in the box. It's got to be a clear foul.
Jair, Parks, nice turn to Moore. Joe Max, and the cannon sails high.
Well, Mark Doherty incensed his Columbus Crew defense, not closing down players. Joe Maxworth's got some space here to line up this shot. And again, 68 miles per hour. Congratulations on getting a lot of power on the shot, but it's got to be on target.
Throw in for Columbus.
It's not about how strong you are. It's about whether you can put the ball past the keeper. Tommy Fitz dressed for a party. What a party it's been here in Central Ohio.
Yeagley. Stern John making a run. Wide open is Comasco. Oh, and a diving, sprawling tackle from Chronopoulos. The Crew's still getting used to this wide field. That was a pass that probably wouldn't have been open last year here in Columbus, but Yeagley's got to make that pass.
He's got to make it sooner, because when he hesitated, it gave Chronopoulos a chance to make that last-second read. And in fact, it was a good defensive play, but if the ball's played earlier, Comasco's in behind Chronopoulos.
Yellow card delayed. Looked like it was almost directed towards the bench, but it might have been against whoever tackled Beasley.
And coming over the top. Pretty nasty tackle.
Jeff Cunningham in the scoring column and in the book.
Came over the ball, got there late.
The Beasley family looking on with concern. 10th minute, Cunningham scored the goal. In the 59th, he set up Stern John. Here's a chance for Savarese. Whistle blows, ball loose, and a foul against New England. The physical play in the box is drawing the attention of the man in yellow tonight.
Well, Gio Savarese will use his body. First, Comasco bump there. Dooley goes up, and there's a shove there. The forearm, the left forearm of Savarese going into Dooley's back, and pretty closely scrutinized there by Brian Hall. Brian Hall's catching him. Savarese doing something he's quite good at. Just a nudge there sometimes creates those loose balls in the box for him.
Joe Max Moore trying to feed the through ball, intercepted by Dooley. Here's Cunningham, intercepted by Jair. Farrell picking up the loose ball and dances around Hartz. Dooley with the outside of the boot. Nice dummy by Stern John. Here's Elcock with John collapsing towards the goal. Cleared away by Dunseth, and he paid the price as Stern John raked his ankle.
Well, it was a cousin-to-cousin connection there, not just a Caribbean connection. Elcock and Stern John.
Moore, Beasley, cleared away by Yeager. Walter Zenga, you mentioned the dual duties, player, coach. As Dunseth still down, they'll clear this away for Dunseth to receive some treatment.
Well, some thank you for a big defensive play by Dunseth. Sturgeon had left the ball for Ansel Elcock. Elcock tried to bring it back into his cousin Sturgeon. Elcock's pass a little bit too far out in front. Here's Elcock, a little too far out in front, giving Dunseth the chance to get to it first, but as he followed through, he cut the bottom of the studs on Sturgeon's shoe.
Walter Zenga, good friends with another player, Coach Chelsea's Gianluca Vialli. Says he talks to him 1,000 times a year. I guess if he was going to call Vialli and ask him, what do you do in this situation, Vialli would go, well, first you look down your bench and you call Gianfranco Zola to the midfield stripe. Maybe put him in.
Maybe you should call him. Right now in England, it's only about 3:30 in the morning, so.
No Zolas on the bench for Zenga to use, though. 24,741 here in attendance tonight. That's up there. Take a look. It's the 4th best attendance in 1999.
Not bad for a stadium that's only designed to hold 22,500 approximately.
That's capacity plus.
Well, they set up some extra seating, in fact, for the construction workers. The 431 construction workers and a guest were all invited to be a part of this momentous evening.
And if there are heroes, those are some of them right there. A lot of them have already headed towards the parking lot with the crew holding on to a 2-0 lead, but wearing the hard hats tonight, and for the last 9 months they have been very busy and deserve all the recommendations and awards they got tonight.
They did a tough job with a tight schedule, and the Columbus Crew, known as the hardest working team in Major League Soccer. Those guys we just showed there had to really work to get this done on time.
Sturgeon might have had a complaint on that play. The Revolution trying to find a miracle on this field of dreams. Here's Savarese, one-on-one. Can't get around Lappin. Does the second effort to the end line, looking for the cross, and Farrell to sweep it clear.
Well, Farrell making his mark with his fresh legs, having just come off the bench a few moments ago, was able to stuff Savarese.
Go Max Moore, not much time left. Kalishman and McKinley and Savarese in the area. McKinley got a head on it, appealing for a corner, but Dennis Zed came off the Revolution midfield.
Good look at Ivan McKinley's dental work. He's not happy with that call. I thought it hit off of a Columbus player. It should have been another corner kick for New England.
McKinley, one of the goals of the year earlier this season, combining with Chris Kelderman on a full-flighted volley.
What a great goal.
He even admitted that's not what he's known for. He said, well, I was thinking about bringing it down, but I just hit it.
Well, more importantly, it was in a victory over DC United. 3-point victory, in fact, for New England, helping them in the standings in the Eastern Conference.
And again, regardless of what happens with DC, Columbus with the 3-point win will maintain first place in the Eastern Conference. Who would have thought of that? Only one of their first 8 games at home, and they've won 6 of them. It has been a fairy tale season so far for the Crew. McKinley pushing up, Dooley trying to slow him down. The Crew 6 wins, just 2 losses, and 14 points.
Well, you're already counting this one when you say 6 wins.
I have a feeling they'll be able to hold on for 2.5 minutes. And think about this, they've played 8 games, they've only scored 9 goals. It's almost been by sleight of hand as Dooley helps out.
Well, and some defensive leadership from Thomas Dooley. He's a good goalkeeper, too, for the Crew. Mostly Mark Doherty.
Marks fighting to surrender a throw-in rather than a goal kick, as New England can keep the pressure on here.
Well, and New England comes into tonight's MLS action in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. You'd like to see that for the New England fans. I mean, New England overall has had poorest record in MLS over the course of now 3+ seasons, but their fans have still averaged nearly 20,000 per game over the course of those 3+ seasons.
That might be just as big a story as this stadium right here. I'm sure they don't want to be known as the lovable losers, but the fans in New England have responded. By the way, over 1 million this year, as has the Metro Stars. If the Crew average just a hair over 16,000,
and they will,
they could pass the 1 million mark in '99. Here's Dos Santos with a buck 16. Fighting. Too much. Quick restart from the Crew. Offside, no doubt about it. 1 minute left.
Just a little bit more patience there by Jeff Cunningham. Would have gotten him another goal. He just holds his run. He still would have got behind everybody from Dooley's pass.
Beasley giving chase. 45. The stadium is rocking tonight in Columbus. Loose ball skips through to Doherty. Pumping his fist. The fans on their feet. 30 seconds left. Good bounce for Barzia. 2 men in the box to help him. To Cunningham, he whips on the shot. And cleared by Callisman. That will not spoil this night tonight.
Well, it would have been icing on the cake, and the fans would have loved it.
10 seconds.
Great hustle by Barzia on the play.
Camasco on defense. Farrell slams it upfield. 3, 2, 1. And the game has ended. 2-0 Columbus.
And our Honda player of the game, number 14 for the Columbus Crew, Stern John. A goal and an assist on the evening. His second goal, a header at the back post from Jeff Cunningham.
Most people will not remember the scoreline of this game. The game taking place at this stadium itself will be the history that goes in the books. But the Crew come out with a win back to wrap it up.
Tired of being lonely? Then call 1 and start talking live with sexy, available men and women right here in Columbus. It's always free for women, and right now we're offering all male callers 60 minutes of talk time free. That's 60 minutes, absolutely free. One-to-one is fast, fun, easy, and totally confidential. There's no obligation, and you can cancel at any time. Call 628-4121 now.
Auto World used cars. Buy here, pay here. It's a world of difference in buy here, pay here. Come see one of the greatest selections available. Auto World has affordable down payments with weekly or bi-weekly payments to fit your budget. We have no credit checks, immediate delivery, and for a limited time, no interest. That's right, no interest. And with any purchase over $2,000, you'll receive a free warranty. Auto World used cars, 5320 Westerville Road. Experience a world of difference with your next used car purchase.
Shine in the cup. It's this. Wax on, wax off, wax on. That was a trick question. You don't leave the wax on. There'd be a buildup.
Other Rick, this is Peter Gammons calling you about the letter. I did not have the time or the lack of decency to ask Tony Gwynn to send you the kidney stone he passed in '97. But thanks for reading my...
Side 4 from Namco.
The Revolution road trip continues next Sunday at L.A. The Crew's next game at home against Tampa next Saturday. What a way to break the ice tonight, Ty.
Phil, this was a victory for the Columbus Crew, but more importantly, it was a victory for U.S. soccer and for Major League Soccer. This venue, outstanding, and we want to see more of them.
Join ESPN2 next Saturday, DC United. Perhaps the return of Marco Echeverri against Diego Sena in the Fusion, 2 Eastern, live from Lockhart. Stay tuned for NBA Tonight, next on ESPN2 for the latest on the playoffs. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader.